You are listening to Business Heroine Radio for the entrepreneur who says she will and does. Join the Business Heroine community today at businessheroinemagazine.com. And now, tune into the show.
Hello and welcome. I'm Ann Perry, founder of Business Heroine. And today I have the profound privilege of interviewing our beautiful cover heroine, Leonie Dawson. And you may know Leonie as a celebrated, soul-centered life and business teacher, best-selling author, and passionate philanthropist. Over the last 11 years, Leonie has taught hundreds of thousands of women how to have more spirited lives and abundant businesses through her books and training academy. She's been recognized for her business acumen by being a top 6 finalist in MyBusiness Award for Australian Businesswoman of the Year and a finalist in Ausmumpreneur of the Year Award. So Leonie lives in the alpine mountains of Canberra, Australia with her hunky husband and their 2 mermaid daughters. And I am so happy to be talking with you today, Leonie. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Anne. And golly gosh, when you read out that bio, I'm like, that is just, who is this woman? It's amazing.
It is amazing. And isn't it awesome to just appreciate the hunky husband and your 2 mermaid daughters amidst all the business success and all of that too. One of the things that we love about you at Business Heroine, by the way, confession, our whole team has a girl crush on you, just so you know.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, yay!
Yay! And part of it is just you're so humble. And I want to share your story with, our readers and listeners many of them who are already followers of you, but tell us more because you started from, working in a cubicle job and could I really make money doing what I love? And yeah, share with us that journey.
So, I always had this dream that I wanted to be, an artist or a writer or somebody who changed the world. And, I'd always hear from my parents, from my career counselors, well, you can't make money doing that, and that's kind of the pipe dream, and you're going to need to get a real job. Otherwise, you're going to be a struggling artist for the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just determined to try and find out another way of doing life. And I like to joke. My parents are farmers, and so I say to my dad, well, I'm an artist, and we all know that, they don't make any money, but it looks like I come from a long line of dreamers because you're a farmer and farmers don't make any money. So, yes, he thinks I'm hilarious.
I'm sure he appreciates that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Long line of dreamers, farmers, and artists. So I had a cubicle job. I worked in the public service. I worked in Parliament House. I worked for ministers of government. I worked as an editor for business.gov.au. And all along, I just had this big calling, no, I've got something else to do. I've got something else to do with my life. And so I committed one day to making $30,000 in the next 12 months from my business so that I could quit my cubicle job.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went, and I made it when I was out in a field, and I was listening to Anthony Robbins, and he was calling it the hour of power, and I was all like, yeah, hour of power, I can so do that. I went home, and then I was writing down the numbers of what I'd need to sell in order to make $30,000 a year, and I was
mm-hmm.
I actually don't know how to do that. I don't know how to make those numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people at that point, they go, you know what? It's never going to happen, pipe
mm-hmm.
dreams, starving artists, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
And instead I said to myself, well, I'm sure other people have done it.
Mm-hmm.
So that just means that, they're not any better than me. It just means that they know something that I don't know right now.
Brilliant.
There's just something for me to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And so I dedicated myself to going and learning it. And because I realized that, when we're born as babies, none of us know how to market. None of us know.
That's true. Very true.
It's all of us actually have to learn this. And I know all of us like to say, oh, I hate marketing, or I'm not good at that, or whatever. But the truth of the matter is, it's a learned skill and it's a practiced skill. And you can learn it and you can do it and you can become much, much better at it. And you can do it without compromising your integrity or it's just your spiritual values or anything like that. So that's what I learned on that journey of getting to $30,000. I just devoted myself completely to learning everything I needed in order to get there. And I did $30,000 that year, and I've doubled my company every year since then. So next year I did 60 and then 120, and now we're over the $1 million mark.
Yeah, it's amazing. I just love that. And it's such a huge nugget, really a success nugget, which is it's not that you're not capable. It's not like because, you're having a hard time selling things or you don't know that you can. It's not like it means something about you. All it means is that there's something you don't know, but other people have done it. So clearly it can be learned. I just love that. And you talked about, learning marketing and how there tends to be this sort of I hate marketing thing, especially for, the soul-fueled, heart-inspired entrepreneurs who are, that's the Business Heroine audience too. Like we're all here to change the world for the better, and marketing and sales can have these yucky connotations. And so I'm curious what you learned along the way around that, like, going from, you called yourself a marketing hating, business ignorant hippie, your words.
Totally.
And from there to, $1 million business, what have you discovered to be true about marketing from the heart and about money and abundance? And tell us your secrets.
Sure. So first and foremost, like this is like the spiritual lesson that keeps beating me over the head, and it continues to bring me to tears. That marketing really, really, really is about deep empathy. So it's really, you have to put yourself in your target market shoes. And I mean, target market, that sounds so icky, from that perspective, but the person that you are supposed to help this life, you have to put yourself completely in their shoes and understand so much what they are struggling with, what are their pain points, where are they at right now, what do they need in their life, what they're fearing most, what they're waking up, in tears about, all of those things, and then using words to help them understand what it is that you do and how you can actually help them on this journey. Because I so believe that we are all here as earth angels, and we each have gifts to help each other out. And learning how to market and have deep compassion and empathy, and learning how to communicate so clearly so that everybody around us knows who we are and how we help. So they know when they go, what, I'm actually struggling with this. You know who the person is to talk to? Anne Perry is the person to talk to about this. And, I know how to contact her. I know how I can invest in working with her, to do an energy exchange. I don't have any fears around that. Or if I do have fears about working with Anne Perry, then Anne Perry has told me, how to allay those fears. So that's like, it's total earth angel contracts at work, and it's all about empathy and communication. And the clearer we become in those, the better at marketing we are.
I love that. I think we're sisters from another mister, because you're speaking my language. And
we are.
Yeah. We are. And I love that, the reframe around marketing about having deep empathy. That's basically what, that's a beautiful quality. And another quality with marketing is seeing people in their full power and their full potential, and seeing what's really possible for people, not buying into the story of even, what is hard for them right now, not buying into like, well, that's the truth and that's what it is for them. It's like seeing their deep desire and knowing that they can have that, and then fitting in the puzzle pieces where we are our unique puzzle piece to help how we can. And all of us coming to earth basically with our special gift to help. Like, that's what business is. It's so beautiful. Business to me is just like the most amazing tool to make major change on the planet.
Absolutely. And I think we all get stuck because, business and marketing for so long has been like a really kind of masculine,
Mm-hmm.
the masculine way of doing it. And, I don't necessarily call this the feminine way of doing it because, my business partner is male, my husband is a male, and they're both like so heart-centered and in their
Mm-hmm.
spirit and in service as well. And it's really about, being service-centered and being, fulfilling that Earth Angel mission and using business and marketing as sacred and profound tools for change.
Yeah, totally. I love it. And how about the money and abundance side? Like, I'm just curious from going from $30,000 a year at a job to then $30,000 a year actually doing with you what you love. Like that right there is the was, I'm assuming, was the most freeing thing. And then just like doubling and tripling and hitting the seven-figure mark. Like, what have I don't know, on a personal level, what have you learned to be true about money and abundance and how it all fits into this picture of service-based business?
Totally. So first and foremost, money blocks do come up, our deepest fears. I know that you've had Denise Duffield Thomas
Mm-hmm.
as a cover girl in the past. I think she's the go-to girl when it comes to money blocks. But,
Yeah.
I constantly come up against my own shit here. Like my deep subconscious fears. So, I remember when I was about to turn 25, I became paralyzed with fear and I was quite um, distraught. I felt like the universe had come undone, like I wasn't
Hmm.
supposed to turn 25. And I didn't understand why until I tapped in and I realized that my elder brother had died when he was 25.
Mm.
And it's not that I felt like I was going to die, but I felt like it was a real wrong of the universe that I would become older than him.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And the same applies to, I'm all teary thinking about
Yeah.
that. The same applies to money. When I started earning more than my parents, the beloved farmers,
The
when I
dreamers.
start, yeah, exactly, exactly. When I started earning more money than the richest person in my family,
Mm-hmm.
um, that was all like incredibly. You had to face it, and I think using things like kinesiology and therapy and intuitive healing, all of those things, whatever works for you, like if you're an EFT person, whatever mode works for you to move through your shit, you as you become as you step up to be even more a powerful custodian of money, you're going to have to up level and be so disciplined about
Mm-hmm.
you doing that inner work because it will hold you back in ways that you don't realize.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I was so afraid that becoming rich would turn me into another person, and it really didn't. Like spoiler alert, I still dress like a hobo. I still barely manage to brush my hair for weeks on end. I'm still me, and my
Yeah.
husband is still him. And even though we've gone from kind of paycheck to paycheck to now being millionaires, we're still exactly the same people.
Yeah.
And it's that journey of like what you do along the way that's the most thrilling bit. Like the money it's not particularly exciting. Like I love the opportunities that it gives us, but it's not particularly exciting. And I
Mm-hmm.
love that we can donate a shit ton of money to charity. Like we're not particularly money motivated.
Yeah.
Um, and my husband and I, at this stage in our life, we hate travel because we have small children.
Mm.
So we'd rather stab ourselves in the eye with a cucumber than go around the world with our darling, darling toddler. So, for us, it's like, okay, well, our goals here are one, to create true financial stability for my family so that if I became, if anything happened to me, then they are still well tended to.
Yeah.
And number two is, wow, okay, like how can we use this money as a really great force for good? How can we align all of our actions with our values
Mm-hmm.
and do fun things like me and Denise and a couple of our friends, we built a school through Principles of Promise just as a fun side project last year. And we're going to be working with Room to Read to build libraries in third world countries. And, that kind of stuff just makes me so jolly.
Yeah, it's amazing. And, it's just everything that you're speaking to, the piece about, up-leveling yourself to be a custodian for larger amounts of money, the piece about, being who you are, or, the concern about, am I going to turn into a different person? But, aligning your actions with your beliefs every step of the way, this ability to give back, like all of this, it's really inspiring. And, one of the things that you shared in the interview is that business is an intense, supercharged spiritual journey. And I couldn't agree more. It's like, if you want to be on a fast spiritual path, open up a business and you've got a mirror and you've got, challenges and like pretty much everything that, to grow as a person can happen through business.
Totally. It's hilarious. It's hilarious how fast you have to face your shit. Before businesses, I could just run away from that and hide for years on end, especially the communication stuff. And, and also you just don't always see how your stuff affects other people. But now I'm like so deeply apparent about how my stuff affects other people. And so, this year I've like had to learn how to moderate my emotions more because I realized like because I am so expressive, so when I feel cranky I'm just like rah, and when I feel joyful I'm like whoa, best day ever.
I love how it's always spelled WAAA. It's wah, but it's the fluctuation of how that comes out. Wow.
Exactly. Wow, it's like wow. And so I've kind of had to learn how to think about how that might affect other people in my team when I am so deeply expressive all the time. And I've had to learn how to actually bite my tongue, which is the hardest thing in the world. And how to just wait for a better time.
Yeah, because knowing how you influence the people around you and especially as a boss and as like in that kind of role, it's like it is a big responsibility.
Absolutely.
And having a public persona and all of that, it's all a big responsibility.
Totally. And I really try and talk on my blog about my fuck ups and where I've had to do better, because none of us are perfect. And I think if we start thinking that somebody else is an expert, and has their shit together constantly, that's so unhelpful. We're all deeply human in this, and we're deeply learning every step of the way.
Yeah. So, one question I want to ask you too is this piece, speaking of growing into, a higher level of income and influence and the spiritual journey and all of that, when fear and self-doubt creep in, which they do, and, like you said, the money blocks or the personal limit blocks, those upper limits. When fear and self-doubt creep in, one of the things you shared was just putting on your fear blinders and becoming a monk to your dreams. And I would love to hear more about that, because it's, in my perspective, one of the things I say is the only fear as an entrepreneur that you need to overcome is the fear of fear, because it will be there. And it's just basically like, okay, so when I experience fear, does that mean stop, or does that mean, ooh, I'm on the hot track, go forward? But in your experience, how do you move through self-doubt? How do you, quiet it so that you can continue to grow and expand and all of that?
Sure. I think we just need to keep talking about that, the fact that it's there. And there's been times where I've been absolutely paralyzed with fear. Like, to give an example, at the beginning, a few months ago, 6 months ago, when I went to order like my 2016 books, that ended up costing us $200,000 all up to create those and print those. And I suddenly realized, oh dear, I need to pay for half of that in the next 30 days. And And, I just paid a $250,000 tax bill. And I was like, well, that kind of killed my cash reserves. So what am I going to do here? And, I really didn't want to like kind of pull stuff out of my mortgage and work out, cash flow that way. I really wanted to, go, okay, how can I actually make the cash flow happen in order to create these books? And I just felt completely paralyzed by fear. Like, how on earth am I going to make that happen? How am I going to just pull, another six-figure amount out of my ass after just doing that? Like, that's hard work. And it then it brings up all of your self-confidence fears and, who am I to be doing this? I should be better at cash flow forecasting and budgeting and, and you can become so enmeshed in that fear.
Yeah.
And so, the way I attacked it was I was really honest about it. I am a somewhat new convert to truth telling. It's taken me a little while to learn that if I can just tell the whole truth about the areas that I feel most shame and fear about, it lessens its hold on me. And I do it in places that are safe for me to do that. So, I've got specific friends that I know are really good at empathic responses. And, I talked to my husband about it and I said, like, I know that we've got these financial goals. I'm feeling completely terrified at this point. Can we just put a pause on that for the time being? I talked to my business partner, Grant, and said, look, I am paralyzed here. And he was able to step up and help me brainstorm in so many different ways. And I talked to friends about it and just go, I'm shitting my pants here. Like, my pants are just chock full of this shit. Chock full. And then I threw, the things that I know work at it. So I did kinesiology with Kerry Rowett. I did intuitive healing with Hiraboga. And I kept on saying to myself, Leonie, like, you've got this, Leonie, let's make this happen. And just kept on journaling. And I just journaled and journaled and journaled and kept writing ways that we could make it happen. And then, of course, once you kind of do that work, this tiny idea peeks through and it ended up earning us $200,000 in the next, 30 days. But I needed to have that crisis week of just like,
right.
before I could get to the, $200,000 idea. And I really needed to go through all of those emotions and choose myself again.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. That's really powerful. And, yeah, it's beautiful. It's like not hiding it, not thinking something is wrong because there's fear there, just like really acknowledging it. It's like, and being with it and letting the shit be in your pants and then letting the idea come in the solution. So that's brilliant. I love it. So I have to say one of the reasons, one of the non-businessy reasons I've been really excited about this interview with you is because, you have a similar appreciation or habit, should I say, of taking really awesome selfies that are not the flattering selfies.
Yes.
Yeah, Katie on our team was calling them uglies, like selfies, but uglies. Like uglies are the new selfies. And I'm like, they're not ugly though. Like they're so awesome, but it's the worst face you can possibly make. So I don't know what the name for them is, but
I love it.
Yeah,
yes.
We have little team threads going back. We'll be doing we communicate on Voxer. So we'll be back and forth on Voxer having conversations about, the magazine and, what are we putting on Facebook this week and blah, blah, blah. And then in pops an ugly selfie. And so anyway, we were hoping that you would participate with us and join the ugly selfies.
Oh, please let me. I'm actually I feel like I have a God-given gift at the uglies. I used to do a lot of drama and plays and things like that. And I have this incredibly flexible face. And I can be I can just do some extraordinary impressions. It's a beautiful thing.
That is awesome. Yeah, my siblings and I do it too. And one year my sister gave us a calendar for Christmas, for our Christmas gift, and every month was just a face. And I mean, when you can rock a quintuple chin, you know you've nailed it.
Can I please join your family?
Yeah, absolutely. Come on over for Christmas. Bring the mermaids and the hunky husband, and we'll take a lot of photos.
Leonie Dawson - Perry. I think it's gonna work. I'll just slide right in. Like, I need that calendar in my life.
All right, I'll see if I can get my hands on one for you.
Super limited edition calendar.
Yes. Awesome. Well, Leonie, so our audience, like I said, the business heroines, I think actually we got a request at one time. I said, who do you want to see on the cover? And somebody said your name. And so it's so perfect that is working out. So for those who don't know where to find more of you, or just want even more of you, what are some of the best places to enter the world of Leonie Dawson?
Sure. So my website is leoniedawson.com, Leonie Dawson, like Dawson's Creek. And yes, that's why I married my husband. I actually said when I was 17 that I was going to marry a Dawson one day because I was so obsessed with Dawson's
Really?
Creek. Yes.
Oh my God, you are a manifester.
I know. And a year
amazing.
later, I met Chris and I just fell in love at first sight. And I found out later what his last name was. And I was like, well, that's me done for life.
Wow.
Thank you very much.
That's amazing. I love that.
So yes, that's my website. You can sign up to jump on my mailing list. I send free, awesome things all the time. If you sign up right now, you get the Biz and Blogstar Success Workshop, which is a huge ebook on exactly how I went from broke to the higher 6 and 7 figure. Well, not 7 figure. Not high 7 figure. How I made $1 million company. Let's just edit that out. How I made a $7 million company. Yes, no, not 7 figure. Dear Lord.
But I think what's happening is like your spirit is speaking through you and saying, I think it's time for 7 million.
You know what, Anne? That's exactly it.
So let's just go with it. If you manifested a Dawson husband, you can clearly pop out $7 million, right?
That's so true. Yes, what a great insight. That's awesome. Also, I'm just about to release the Shining Gear Goals Workbooks, which every woman in business should be using the Shining Gear in Business Goals Workbook, and we've also got a accompanying diary and a life goals workbook and a to-do list pad and a wall planner, and that's like the organizational way to map out your goals and make them happen in your business over the next year. So that's at shiningyear.com, and then my training academy is at shiningacademy.com. So it's fun.
It's so fun. Yes, it's a fun way to do goals. I got your book last year and loved it because it's beautiful, and I mean, goals don't have to be boring. Goals can be fun and beautiful, and you are a master of getting things done, like amazing things done in a small amount of time. I feel like you told a story about, I don't remember even where I saw this, but you were like taking your laptop up into the tree in your yard or something to get work done in between things, or
totally.
Yeah.
And so I used to. So I full disclosure, I used to take really bad care of myself in that I would be like, I don't need an office to work in. Like I'll just fit in things around. And this is when I had a 6-figure company. I was doing like well over $100,000 a year, and I didn't even have a damn office because I can just be so terrible at thinking, you know what, I could just do anything. But I did have some magnificent adventures. And so at a park near my house, there was a huge old fig tree, where they actually used to chain prisoners up because it was next to the jail.
Oh, wow.
And so like the pub was across the road and people would get really drunk, and then they would chain them to the tree. So that's a special bit of history. So a beautiful old fig tree that had seen a lot of drunk men. And I used to, because I was looking for a quiet place to work, I used to go climb up the top of the tree. And it was like fucking Swiss Family Robinson shit up there. Like you could have a house up there.
Wow.
One day I did get stuck up there because there was a snake in there. And I was like, I think I actually probably need to get an office because I can't get down from the tree because there's a snake on a lower branch.
That is perfect. I love it. Well, if you can build a 6-figure business in a tree with a snake, then definitely the goal books and all the creating our lives intentionally and all of that. There's some magic there. So we'll make sure we have the links in the article for everyone listening. So before I let you go, do you have any last just words of wisdom or burning insights that you would love to share with the business heroines tuning in today?
Sure. And the thing I most want to say is there's a really big reason that you're here, and it's not your job to second guess that. It's not your job. It's not your job to like decide whether you're worthy or not. Your job is just to turn up and do the work that you're called to do in the world. So you can just like mark that off your list, like all the time that you spend judging yourself and comparing yourself and freaking out that you're not good enough. That's actually not your business, and that's not what you're here to think about. All you're here to think about is just to do your work in the world and to trust that it is needed and that it is holy. And sometimes things are going to come up, and that's okay. And you're going to just keep on going step by step by step through those fears and turning into the shadows and facing like your deepest fears of inadequacy. And you are going to choose yourself again and again and say, you know what, that's actually not the truth. The truth is what lights up my cells. And the thing that lights up my cells is this profound knowing that I am here to do this work.
Wow. That is beautiful. It gives me chills. Yep, it's holy. And even with shit in our pants, we can choose ourselves and choose holy. choose our holy work. Yeah, I love it.
That's a tweetable.
Even with shit in our pants, we continue to say yes to ourselves. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for making the cover of Business Heroine magazine beautiful with your gorgeous mug. And, even it'd be cool to do like the very first like ugly shot on a magazine cover.
I was just thinking that. I was like, please, like let's scrap the terrible, like let's scrap the glossy photo and like just put, me in the bathroom watching my kids take a bath and just feeling completely disgruntled.
I love it. Oh my God, that's genius. Oh my goodness.
You should have like bonus cover. So
yes.
Like, how they do the bonus cover, like have the glossy and then have the real Leonie.
Yes. And we'll take votes. Which magazine do you want to read? I love it.
That's perfect.
Oh my gosh. Well, stay tuned, everyone, because there may be some surprises. Thank you, Leonie, again for being here. And I think you're awesome. I think you're a sister from another mister. I'm girl crush confirmed. And thank you for your time and for your awesome perspective on life and business.
Same. I feel like I've just met a new best friend.
I know, me too. Well, we'll see you at Christmas.
I'll be there with a terrible sweater on.
Perfect. Awesome. And thank you, Business Heroines, for tuning in, and we will see you next time.
You have been listening to Business Heroine Radio for the entrepreneur who says she will and does. We hope you enjoyed the show. Be sure to check out what's new at businessheroinemagazine.com today.